All I'm going to say about the second half of today's Apple event is holy. Because yes, Apple just went into Terminator mode with their new batch of studio products. The new iPad Air brings up much more upgrades than the leaks made it sound to be. And we also got a new iPhone SE with a new chip, sure, but also some upgrades. I'm Jaime Rivera, and listen, I know, I could have been nicer, but I couldn't even control my tweets. That's how good today's event was. Let me explain why. This is Pocketnow Daily. All right, where do I even start? Fine, before we get to the hot stuff, let's go through some of the minor updates we got. The show started off with Tim Cook in a very appropriate blue sweater with a yellow watch band showing his support for Ukraine. Gotta love that part. But yeah, he began talking about Apple TV Plus's success, and they even went on to announce Friday Night Baseball on the platform, which you should actually care about if you're into baseball, because the two games that will be available will actually be exclusive to the platform once this rolls out. Obviously, hard to predict what games those will be though. Now moving on, they also talked about the iPhone 13. I mean, this year, instead of just giving us one new finish for the regular model, we actually get two new ones for the 13 and 13 Pro series. The regular model will be going green while the Pros are going Alpine green. Pre-orders for those new color variants start on Friday and will be available on March 18th. And while we're on the topic of iPhones, let's shift gears onto the quote-unquote brand new iPhone SE. Yes, it still brings the same design that's at least 5 years old if you're only counting the old iPhone 8. But that means the same 4.7-inch Retina display, which I don't know if I should call liquid. Same IP67 rating, same home button with Touch ID capabilities, but you do get some little hardware tweaks like the same stronger glass we see on the iPhone 13, even if Apple doesn't explicitly call it ceramic shield. Now this phone isn't a chump either. The changes start with the A15 Bionic and the fact that Apple is not capping down functionality like they did before with the previous SE. Yes, it has the same 6-core CPU and 4-core GPU configuration you get with other devices, which obviously makes applications launch faster, provides a better battery life, plus 5G, though no mention on millimeter wave. Now what's important is the significant upgrades to photography. This phone does bring smart HDR4, Deep Fusion, and the ISP provides video quality updates that include better skin tones and dynamic range, which the old SE was truly bad at when compared to the iPhones of the time. It comes in 3 color variants, being Midnight, Starlight, and Product Red. It starts at $429 and pre-orders again start Friday, with it being available in stores on March 18th. But moving on to some major changes that we thought wouldn't happen, let's talk about the iPad Air. We thought this would be a larger iPad mini with the same design and the 5G capabilities, but boy, were we wrong. Yes, it brings the same design as before, which means it has slightly thicker bezels than the Pro, but what makes it special is that this thing runs the M1 chip. Like seriously, the M1 chip with more GPU cores than even the base MacBook Air. So yeah, 8 CPU cores, which is 60% faster than the A14, and 8 GPU cores, which obviously adds some more power than before. Of course you get 5G support, though they didn't really mention or provide confirmation on millimeter wave either. Now the selfie camera is also getting an upgrade. It now is the same 12 megapixel ultra wide shooter you get on the Pro models and even the iPad mini, which means it supports center stage. The USB-C port is also getting some love as it now has twice as fast speeds, but there's no mention of Thunderbolt. They also did talk about this new release of iMovie with a storyboard feature that'll be available next month, and obviously which works best on this iPad. Yes, this iPad Air comes in space gray, starlight purple, a new blue, and other colors, but it sadly starts at the same 64 gigs for $599. Pre-orders begin on Friday with a launch on March 18th. And finally, for the hottest and honestly most WTF news today, let's talk about the M1 Ultra Mac Studio, and the Studio Display. Grab some popcorn. We thought that we were getting an iMac Pro or a new iMac Mini, but no. Let's just say this is so much more than that, and bear with me because there is a lot to talk about here. Starting with the M1 Ultra. This is the last addition to the M1 family, and think about it as two M1 Max chips working together instead of a bigger chip that Apple claimed wasn't feasible. I know, it's not as simple as that, but it allows for up to 128 gigs of unified memory, up to a 20-core CPU, 64 cores in the GPU, 32 in the Neural Engine, all in a 5nm process. But then they showed us why this chip exists as they explained the needs for guys in the studio like me, and as a result, they showed us the new Mac Studio. Think of it as a tall Mac Mini, which is 7.7 inches wide and 3.7 inches tall. And then you get options for either the current M1 Max or the new M1 Ultra in configurations. Now it's tall because it brings this cool double-sided blower you'll probably never hear for heat dissipation, because I haven't really on my current M1 Pros. Depending on the configuration you choose, it goes up to 128 gigs of unified memory, up to 8 terabytes of solid-state drive, and then when it comes to connectivity, there are 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports, a gigabit Ethernet port, 2 USB-A, an HDMI port, an audio jack that supports high impedance, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5, and then it comes at the front with 2 extra USB-C ports, which are Thunderbolt if you go for the Ultra variant, and an SD card slot. Now, Apple's performance charts were all claiming ludicrous speeds when compared to even their top-of-the-line Mac Pro, and I'm gonna actually believe them. But wait, there's more. We also got a Studio Display, which I thought was just going to be a Pro Display XDR 2.0, but boy, was I wrong. It is not as powerful, but it still brings an aluminum enclosure, and the stand is actually included, and you can actually pick from other options like a VESA mount. It's a 27-inch 5K Retina panel with True Tone, an optional nano texture glass to avoid reflections, and it tops up at 600 nits of brightness. The thing is, it actually has an A13 Bionic chip inside it to power a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera for center stage, a 3-mic array, a crazy 6-speaker sound system, which supports spatial audio, and you actually get more ports on this thing, like 3 USB-C and 1 Thunderbolt port that's powerful enough to even charge any MacBook Pro. And we also get new colors for the accessories to complement the black color variant. So why the WTF moment? Well, I saw all this being announced and then said that this combo would probably replace the Mac Pro and thought that the price would be around $10,000. But nope, Apple teased the Mac Pro is coming, and this Mac Studio starts at $2,000 with the monitor costing just $1,600, which for anybody that knows anything about Pro monitors knows that this is a treat. So for today's question, let us know, what announcements excited you today? Because I think that Studio monitor alone just made most Pro monitors look like trash in that price range. But oh my god, that M1 Ultra and that Mac Studio at that starting price is even, I don't know, it's crazy to think of so much power in such a small body, and then think that there is still a Mac Pro coming. Apple is really going out after Intel and so much of its competitors, or not even giving them a chance to breathe, but that's my opinion. Leave us a comment down below, we'd love to know your opinion. Friends, again, if you want to get the news earlier, follow us on PocketNow.com and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. You can also follow us on social medias. Our extended coverage happens on Instagram, and follow me on my personal handles to see me lose it every now and then. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.